Hello and welcome to the last of my little video blogs for 2024, and it seems amazing to me that we're actually here in December already and that the year has just gone so quickly. I don't know if it's an age thing or if just time has a different relevance to us now, but it certainly has been a quick year in lots of different ways. And I sort of thought that I would just do a little bit of reflection, because really December and November in particular has sort of been that for me, just looking back at what has been occurring and what has been my highlights and my lowlights. And I wrote some down because it's really interesting when we do that introspection and that reflection, that actually we accomplish a lot, and it may not all have been bad, but sometimes when we're in the throes of dealing with challenges, it just feels like it's a never-ending story. So obviously for me, being a dragon, I was so excited for the year of the dragon, remembering that it was a fire dragon. So lots of challenges needed to be anticipated, because that's what fire energy brings. It sort of rebirths and renews itself, and we're really left to deal with what that feels like. But of course, dragons can be earth dragons, fire dragons, air dragons, and water dragons. So we've got all of those elements wrapped in. And I have to say, I kind of lost sight that it was my year. I really did. I just got so bogged down with things in that sort of May to September time that I forgot to really take on board and relish that it was the year of the dragon and it was my year, and that I could really tap into that fire energy to get projects moving. So that middle part of the year, winter time for us in New Zealand, just felt really sluggish and really slow until I then got back on track. I think another highlight for me has been my live talks, and to reflect back that, we've had over 1,600 students coming and joining me on a monthly basis from all over the globe. I have a really strong USA contingent as well as a South American contingent. And it's lovely to see them all talking to each other in the chat aspect of the live talk. And just the questions that people are still requesting for information, and they're on a personal quest, and they seem to be in a place where they're looking for as many sources of information as possible to discern what is right for them. And that's been really, really interesting for me, because sometimes I think my work is very basic and at that very foundational level. But then when we have these conversations online and they're asking and probing, and really delving into their own sense of self, it really comes across that, there's a lot both to my work, but there's a lot of work that I could still do and still help people with. So that has been a real highlight for me, is connecting to people in different countries and seeing where spirituality is in those locations, be it in Europe, be it in Britain, be it in Canada, or America and South America. So that has definitely been a highlight for me, and a real learning curve for me, which has just been really, really awesome. I think just time away with Michael, spending time away from the house, away from the business, just away, whether it's just a day away, a week away, a weekend away, just creating space around us. Because again, we get really caught up in the mire of everyday life, and taking time out is really important. It's good for the soul. It's good for your sense of well-being. It's good for just resting the mind and being open to new influences, new environments, meeting new people. So that has been really, really lovely, actually, and feeling really blessed that we've had the opportunity to do that, because not everybody has had that. And another big milestone was getting my meditations on Spotify and sharing my voice and my meditations with people on that global scale has been exciting. It's been one of those things that I've wanted to do for a long time, and it's a bit of a process. But once I got into the swing of it, it was really interesting, because I thought Apple would be the place for my meditations, but actually Spotify has been the place for my meditations. And so that's all that learning curve, that learning process that you go through in terms of streaming platforms and, where are people searching for information? Where are people going to find product? And it's not always the big players that people are going to find those little niche products. So that has been a really awesome experience. And again, with my digital products, I think there's more I can do there next year. So that's a project in waiting that will be interesting to see how that develops as we move through 2025. I think in terms of challenges, it's been just some of those health issues, and I'm sure we've all had health issues on some level or another. Finding my voice in amongst the medical world has been difficult for me in the past. I've always just sort of sat there and these are the people that should know, so therefore they know, so I don't know, so I just do what they say. But I have to say, the older I get, the more cantankerous I get when it comes to the medical world. And I've certainly found my voice with that. I've certainly taken responsibility for my own sense of well-being instead of handing that over to the medical profession. And it hasn't all been bad. It has been a range of experiences, from the amazing ambulance crew that came and took me into hospital, and just the excellent care that I had there, to, just the local services and me not agreeing with what they were saying, and really having to sit there and go, well, actually, no, I don't think that's right. I'm not doing it. So it's been a real mixture of finding what is right for me, finding alternatives that suit my vibration and my body better. And that then turns into a highlight where I can then look back and go, well, actually, I did do that, and I did change things, and I do feel better, and I feel the better for finding my voice and being heard. And I think that's part of that fire dragon energy, is finding that voice. We only have a couple of months left of the dragon energy, and we move it into the snake energy. So there'll be lots that need to be revealed there, a little bit like the snake in the Jungle Book, with that wonderful sultry voice that would hypnotise people. And I'm talking about the cartoon, the very first Disney cartoon version. And we see that snake intertwining itself into Mowgli's world, and that hypnotic process that a snake can have. And so I think next year we have to be even more alert and more aware of what we're being told. Are we being hypnotized? Are we being fed information that may not necessarily be right information? So I think we're going to have to really watch what's going on, but it'll be a transformative year as well, because snakes shed their skin. It's a rebirth process. So we'll have the two ends of the scale. We'll have the rebirthing process, but then we'll have things being revealed to us that may not necessarily be what we were expecting. So an interesting year ahead, and one that I will be reflecting on when I take some time out with Michael down in the mountains by the lakeside in January, and just really being present and being part of the landscape, and just sitting and just enjoying the last embers of the year of the dragon. I'd like to thank everyone who responds to my newsletter. It really does blow me away. And I know I say it, I think nearly every month I feel quite humbled, but I do actually feel quite humbled. Sitting in my at my dining table here, talking into a camera, not knowing if anyone is actually ever going to listen. It just feels really humbling when people go, wow, that was the same experience for me. And I think that shared experience, me sharing my experience, allows some of you to share your experience, but also to feel like you're not alone, because we can feel quite lonely even though we're surrounded by people. And I'd also like to thank all of my Reiki students who have come through. Their Reiki 1, Reiki 2 and Reiki 3, and the Reiki master teachers who have qualified. They're out there teaching this amazing, amazing healing modality. The Reiki master teachers who are rejoining and will be soon out there teaching this modality to the students around them. It's really quite mind-blowing how Reiki has become recognized as an energetic healing model that is being used wider and wider as part of the palliative care of people within the medical system. So a big thank you to all of my students who have done that, and to all of the online students who have taken up the banner and invested in their own sense of well-being, their own sense of education, and fulfilling some of their needs, hopes and desires through the online video courses. So it's been a really wonderful year on lots of many, many levels, and even the lowlights have become highlights. And I'm hoping that is the same for you. So until the next time, please take care of yourselves and enjoy the festive season. Don't put yourself under pressure. We've got that FOMO and JOMO, which I've done in the past. The joy of missing out is actually quite lovely. You don't have to say yes to everything. I think a small, meaningful Christmas is far more nurturing than trying to, have a huge, big, bombastic event that can leave you feeling deflated. So make it meaningful. Make your gifts really meaningful. Make your time meaningful. Make your time with your family really meaningful. And I'm sure you will have a wonderful, wonderful time. So until the next time, I'm going to say namaste, and we'll see you in the new year. But until then, bye for now.